Hello, and welcome to Happy You Asked, the podcast where we explore a little thing called happiness, one awkward conversation at a time. And I'm your host, Erin Clare, who's currently joining you from Massachusetts on a blustery January day. Today, I have with me Elizabeth Franks, or Beth, right? And Beth taught English and French for Dardanelle Public Schools in Dardanelle, Arkansas for how long? How many years?
A lot.
For many years. We'll talk about that
Years,
later.
not quite 40, almost 40. But
Oh,
in between, mixed in there, I also taught at Tech as an adjunct
mhm.
and University of Arkansas as a graduate student. So that's my teaching.
Yay. And Beth also adopted and raised six special needs children in addition to her own biological children. That number gets me. While remaining active in her church and community. And she's just a phenomenal human being. Beth, I can't thank you enough for being on this podcast, talking with me. You're one of the people I just admire the most in the world. So thank you.
I'm very humbled. Thank you.
Aw. So I always ask everybody the same first question. And again, there's no right or wrong answer to this. There's just your answer. And is what is your definition of happiness?
Well,
It's such a hard question.
I wrote this one down because
Well, a
I want to
teacher,
get it
yes,
right.
you prepared.
To me, happiness is not a feeling, but a commitment to a certain kind of life.
Ooh, I love that. Now, what do you mean, certain kind of life?
Um, well, of course, that has lots of components, but I guess the main one is trying to do what's right. And if it comes out well, fine. And if it doesn't come out well, at least I've done what's right in my
Ooh,
mind.
it's the second part that's hard, right? If it doesn't come out
Right.
well.
But I would say, and I've said this to students over the years, I think over the course of a lifetime, if you try to do what's right over your lifetime, for you, it will come out well. By which I mean how you feel about your life. Not necessarily that, I mean, I've had my fair share of trauma and unhappiness, tragedy, etc., just like everyone does. Everyone does. But as I look back over all of it, I remember most of it as being a good life.
Hmm, that's wonderful. Do you think then, how did that play out in your own life? Like doing what's right, even if it doesn't work out?
Um, well, something that you didn't mention about the children, which you might not know, is we also adopted two teenagers
Mhm,
who
mhm,
needed a home, and we gave them homes, and neither one of those situations really ended well. They both left
mhm.
us.
Oh, that must have been hard.
That was very painful. The first one, the boy, we're not really in touch with at all. The second one, the girl, who I really thought after the boy left, I thought we got the girl, and I thought she's going to stay, but she didn't.
Hmm.
Um, I'm in touch with her just intermittently, so that was hard. But we
Yeah.
did the right thing because those kids needed a place to finish growing up, and this was the place. We didn't do them any harm, and I think we did them both some good.
Yeah, that was the
So,
right thing regardless. And that
yes,
and who we never know, this is a teacher very well. We never know the impact we truly have. We don't. We don't get to know it.
right.
That's part of the beauty and challenge of teaching is we never really know. And I'm sure with those people, you don't get to know how much. And all you
No,
can do is every interaction be the best you can, do the best you can, and do what feels right. And but it must be good.
yes. So
Yeah.
that's an example of the kind of thing I mean. We did the right thing. Um, we took a child as a foster child, kind of an informal situation, though we had a legal guardianship, and that also blew up. And so I
Mm.
was talking to the counselor at my school, and she said, "Well, of course it did. No good deed will go unpunished," which I do not agree with at all. But, that is what she said to me in that circumstance.
Now,
So
what brought
there's
you
that.
to begin to want to foster children?
Well, he's really the only one we ever fostered. Everybody else we adopted.
Hmm.
Um, We had the three boys, and we had made a decision that was our family and had taken surgical steps without going into any details there, of course, to see that that would happen. And then when our youngest child was about a year old, my husband decided he wanted another child. And that's how we got started. And that's how we got our
Mm.
Rebecca, who was the first child we adopted. And then the others just, she was a inadvertent special needs child. We didn't really know that when we agreed to take her, but she was so wonderful. We thought, well, we can do this. And
Mm.
that's how we got started.
There are so many challenges that are unseen with having special needs children. Joys too, of course, don't get me wrong. But so many challenges. How were you able to navigate that and still maintain your own happiness?
I think by focusing on them and what they needed more than on me and what I needed
Mm.
there were some difficult years. The really early years were just like an extended babyhood. So that was kind of lovely. But there was a middle period in there that was difficult. And we had a group of them that were close to the same age.
Mhm.
And I can't say that I didn't have some struggles in there, but I was crystal clear that what I was doing was for them, just for
Mhm.
them, not for any other purpose whatsoever. So, for instance, um, I have other friends who have special needs children that they've adopted, and they allow themselves to be photographed and written about. And I have never allowed that because, first of
Mhm.
all, our family and who's in it and how it was formed is nobody's business. And
Mhm. Yeah.
second of all, it just felt kind of exploitative. Which word do I want there? Exploitive of the children. You know, like I'm going to get attention for, oh, look at me, what I did. I've got these kids. So I don't know how we got on that.
Oh, no, but I feel the same way. Like if my kids something amazing, they did, I don't want to be the focus of it. Right?
You want them
All
to
I
be the
did was,
focus.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
I want them to be the focus. All I did was my job.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
So that was just,
congratulations for raising all of those children to adulthood. And
that's our,
yes, that
yes.
you must be
And
very,
our
very proud.
just one more thing, and but then I want to get to the next question, which I have two great answers for.
Go
But
do it.
my very youngest child, who is 22 now, in December graduated from Tech.
I know, I'm
With
so proud.
when we took him as a very, very special needs child, and he was extremely medically fragile, and it was a long road to get him back to health. But cognitively, he is 100% there. So
And he is the sweetest too. Oh,
he
such a
is the
sweetheart.
sweetest. He is a sweet. I used to, when he was little, I'd call him my sweet sweetheart because
He
he
is.
just is doubly sweet.
He
So
is. So I would like to hear when you can describe a moment when or two when you felt truly happy. I would love to hear about that.
I've got two. One is from more than 50 years ago, and one is from today. What should I do
Lovely.
first? What's
Whichever you would like.
first? Okay, well, let's do 50 years ago. This is more than 50 years ago, getting close now to 55 years ago. I was 17.
Hmm.
And I remember this moment. I could see it in my mind as if it were happening to me right now. I had had a very rocky time in high school. Some very bad things happened. One really bad thing, one traumatic thing happened. I went through a counseling process, which was not common at all in this
No, not back
place
then. Mm-mm.
in those days, not at all. Um, and my counselor convinced my parents to let me leave high school early and start going to tech. So I did. And it was just a miracle to me to be at Tech. And one day in the
Mhm.
spring semester, I was walking across the campus and I just had so much hope and optimism about my future now and about myself. And I looked around, and every tree around me was the palest, most lovely green color I had ever seen. It was just gorgeous. And I thought, this is the way the world really is, not the way the world has been that I've been living in. And it was just
Oh,
a
I
defining
love
moment.
that story.
Oh, it was just perfect. And it was a defining moment for me. And I went on from there. Now, after that, I also had struggles and hard times. I had a very bad first marriage, for instance. Um, but I've been married the second time now, almost 42 years.
Congratulations.
Mostly happily and certainly satisfactorily.
If you had
Um,
said completely happy, I wouldn't have believed you. That's
no,
not
that
the
would be
way
a
a marriage
lie.
works. Yeah.
Well, the happily ever after myth of the fairy tale is very damaging to young girls, I think.
Yes, because someone's got to do the dishes after that, half of the someone's got to do the laundry. Stuff has
That's
to
right,
happen.
right. And, irritations will creep in. And anyway, so that's my old one. Now, here's my one today.
Okay.
I was at PetSmart in the checkout line when the man in front of me had an aquarium kit in his cart and he bought a $50 gift card for a birthday. And I said, "Oh, I wish someone would give me that present." And he turned around and he said, "It's for my daughter and she's turning 10 and all she wanted for her birthday was a fish tank." And I remembered in that moment that when my own daughter Maria was 10, she wanted that exact same present and we got it for her and she loved it. I bet she had it 15 years with her
No.
fish. All through those years, one of the happiest parts of her childhood. I mean, when she left home, it was still here. And um, I just thought, this is just amazing. Now, here's a dad. What a great dad. He was a person who did, if you just saw him, you wouldn't think, oh, this is a great dad. But clearly he was.
Yeah, he was doing the great dad thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I was just happy. I was happy all the way home from PetSmart.
I love that. And you just gave me happiness because I remember Moss, 1 year, all he wanted was a fish. And I remember every morning before school and going over to his little fish tank and saying, "Good morning," and tapping on it and doing, and the joy of that childhood joy of having that pet. Yes. So thank you for that because you just brought me happiness, reminding my own kid that same
Oh,
moment.
thank you.
I love that. I love both of those stories. The one about tech, Arkansas Tech, and having that moment there where everything feels okay. I think I had a similar moment on the Arkansas Tech University campus after I had gotten a full-time job there of just everything being greener and more beautiful that moment. Like the future is good. Right? Yes,
Yes.
I love
The
that.
springtime at Tech is just wonderful. It's just,
Mhm.
I love it.
That a feeling of hope and opportunity. It's
That's right. Oh,
perfect.
and let me follow up on Tech. Um, you may or may not know, but my father taught at Tech,
Oh, I didn't know. What do you teach?
history and political science. He was the
What?
department head. He wrote the history of Tech. And at the
Oh,
time, I was looking about colleges, and it ended up not mattering because this is a sidetrack. I'll come back. Anyway, um, I took my PSAT my junior year, like we did, and the scores came back, and the counselor called me in, and she said she would like me to apply at these three schools. And I remember every one of them to this moment: Hendrix, Vanderbilt, and Emory. She said, "Let's apply for these three." I didn't know what I mean. I said, "Okay." So I went home and I said, "Daddy, my counselor called me in today and she thinks I should apply for these three schools." And he said, "No, Elizabeth, if you don't go to Tech, people will think I think Tech is not good enough for my kids."
ooh,
That time he was pretty high up in the administration and he was aiming for the presidency.
mm.
And I went to Tech and it absolutely could not have been better. It couldn't have
Good.
been better. When I went to Fayetteville then for graduate school and married my husband, who went to Middlebury College. You probably know what that
I
is.
know Middlebury, Vermont.
In Vermont. He had a Rockefeller in his class. It was quite the thing. He went clear through private school, came to the University of Arkansas. We were in the writing program, and I absolutely knew as much as he knew. So I
That's
know that
exactly right.
Tech did well for me. Tech did just fine for me.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. It's far more to do with who's teaching you and what you want to
Right.
learn than where you're going.
Right.
Yeah,
And I had some excellent teachers at Tech. Excellent.
yeah. Yeah, there are some amazing people there. Do you think your understanding of happiness has changed over time?
Somewhat, somewhat. I think when I was younger, I really did think if I could wear the right outfit, have the right friends, marry the right man, etc., that I would be happy. And now I know that if those things are happy, that's fine, but that's not the main component of happiness.
There are plenty of people who have those things and they are miserable.
Correct. Correct.
Yes, that's exactly right. I agree 100%. Do you think, I think sometimes like people, I think it's natural that we should evolve from that, right? That a lot of people begin that way because everything we see in, the market, all the advertising, the films, I shouldn't
Right.
say that that's how we should be. But as we, grow and evolve, and we realize, watch people around us who have those things and are miserable, we're like, well, that can't be right. So what is it?
It's not it.
And
That's not it.
yeah, and amazingly, like no one really teaches us. They do, but they also don't know how to teach us in the way we can hear and how to actually live a life that feels happy. Because you still need things to
Right.
survive. You have to work. You have to do things that are not happy, and horrible things happen. So what do we do? And there's not that. That's much harder to teach, like moment to moment.
Yes.
Speaking
Yes.
of work, 40 something years as an educator. How did happiness factor into your work, do you think?
Well, I've got a story for that. These were wonderful questions, Erin. These
Oh,
questions are just excellent and so thought provoking. Um, and I'm glad I got to see them ahead of time.
good.
I I had a student once, and he was a big-hearted sweetheart of a student with some out-of-school issues going on. I would say he was troubled. He had troubles, too many troubles for a kid. He was in the ninth grade that year when I taught him. And he came into class one day. I'll never forget it. It was fourth period. And he came in and he said, I'm so glad I'm here. And I said, well, I'm glad you're here too. Why are you saying that? And he said, because you're a happy teacher.
Oh,
Now, oh, this is my kitty. Sorry.
oh, we love
Um,
Katie's coming through.
she just did. I had never thought about, I mean, I know the teacher is the key component in the classroom. I know that. We all know that. As soon as we're in kindergarten, we know that. But I had never thought about whether a teacher is happy or unhappy, making that much difference to the kid. And I was a happy teacher. I was happy to go to school in the morning. I thought about it when I wasn't there. I thought about the students and what we were going to do next. And you're a teacher. You have to problem solve. You think you've got this wonderful lesson and it falls flat, or you've got this other kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure this is so good, and it just takes off. And we'll just get there in the morning. I'll be so happy to be there. And I think that is the only reason I was able to do it for as long as I was
Hmm.
because I was truly happy and satisfied. And I had a couple opportunities to move into a different part of education. Once I was strongly encouraged to start working on a counseling degree, which I probably would have liked that fine. And then I had a principal who really liked me, and he was moving to a different building, and he wanted me to go with him as the assistant principal. That probably would have been a disaster, but I didn't. Neither time. I stayed put, and I think that that was the right decision for me
Hmm. Hmm.
because I think where I was effective, I was happy, and I didn't see any reason to. I guess I'm sort of a settled kind of person. I get settled and I'm happy there, and I was happy there. So,
Comfort. Yeah, there's
yeah,
comfort there too. You know
I
your
did get to
role and
teach.
what to do and how to do it and how to help.
I did get to teach lots of different things through the years. I taught all four grades at my high school. I taught all levels. I taught AP. And then toward the end, and I resisted this a little bit, my principal wanted me to teach the literacy remediation, and I didn't want to do it. I was teaching all senior English and French, and I was perfectly happy. She said, no, I really need you to do this. It was the best teaching experience of my whole life because
It is
those
so
were
sad,
last,
gratifying. Oh, it's gratifying.
Oh, well, they were the last chance kids and they knew it. They knew this was like, this was it. They were either going to do it here or they were never going to do it. And they tried so hard. I can't say all of them succeeded, but a lot of them did.
Mhm.
And all of them improved.
Yeah.
So, boy, that went far from where we started. But yes,
No, but
happiness at
no,
work.
that does bring happiness. It does because
It
even
did. It
even
did.
in those cases that are not like complete success stories, the fact that you know when you're sitting there and you believe in that student, that that moment of you believing them, regardless of how it turns out, they're going to carry that. That someone can
Right.
believe in them and they're worthwhile. And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching those types of students because yes, they're as important as any other. Right? They need
Right.
me. The other ones
Right.
don't need
They
me as
need you.
much.
Correct. I think the AP kids would have learned to read and write fine without me eventually. But
Mhm.
those remediation kids, they wouldn't have.
100%. We're of the same mind. That's why I hug my cookies all the way out here to Massachusetts all the time because who I'm serving, they need me. I mean, I serve just as FYI for everybody out there, I serve a bachelor's completion students. So what that means is only transfer students and primarily first generation underprivileged. And so I almost all the programs in my college are heavily scholarshiped so that I can give degree opportunities to people, a Northeastern degree for those who would not have it just because of life circumstances. And so that's worthwhile. These people need me. The rest of them at Northeastern, they're going to do fine whether or not I show up, right? They're going to be okay. But these ones, I can make a difference in their life. So I get that, serving those the remedial students are the ones who just, you know, they just haven't had it as easy,
Right. They
you
just
know,
have it.
for no
So
fault of their own, vast majority, or fault of their own, doesn't matter. They just haven't
it
had it
doesn't
as
matter, but
easy.
usually not. I mean,
Yeah.
they may have made bad choices as teenagers, but the the basis of those choices go way back beyond their control in most cases.
100%. Now, I heard a rumor, and you don't have to give me any details. I just want to know in general. I heard that you taught Tom Cotton, Senator Cotton.
True.
It's true.
It's
How
true.
was he as a student? Was he a good student?
Excellent. He's extremely intelligent,
How
very
cool.
thoughtful, conservative even as a teenager.
Hmm. I found that with my students too, and I look back, those who became, they were like that all along. 100%.
Um, but a hard worker, completely responsible.
Mm.
Um, I don't
Isn't
know
it
how
amazing
much.
isn't it amazing like how we can remember certain students years and years later exactly what their personality was like and what they were like in the
Yeah,
classroom. Like it gets
he
imprinted in there.
he is the age of my oldest son, and they played baseball together and were friends when they were
Oh, how
young.
lovely.
Yeah,
How
so
neat.
I knew him. I knew him before he was my student, probably starting when he was 9 or 10.
That's
And of course, in his
okay.
parents, I hold in the highest regard. I taught with
Hmm.
his mother, and of course, then his father was my son's baseball coach. So I have some ties there, and
That's Arkansas. As I like to
that's
say, every time
Arkansas.
I fly in a Little Rock, I am going to know somebody on that plane. That
Yes.
is the way the state is. I will know somebody. And every flight to Little Rock's the same. Everybody's talking to each other like we're all relatives.
I fly to Dallas from Little Rock. And on the way there, we're talking about what we're going to do in Dallas. We're all, going to see somebody or do something special, something like that. And on the way home, we talk about what we did in Dallas. And I always see someone I know, at
Yeah.
least somehow. I mean, maybe not directly, but I know someone they know, or,
That's
they're on
exactly
the,
right. And it's beautiful. It's like, oh, this sort of home community.
yeah,
Always, and it doesn't matter if I'm flying out of LaGuardia or, Atlanta or Charlotte. It's the same thing if you're going to Little Rock. They'll ask you where you've
yeah.
been, what you've been doing, who you're heading to see, and it'll just be,
We're all
you
going to
are.
Arkansas, so we must know each other.
There aren't that many of us going there. We're all going there for a reason. Now, one of the things that biggest concept in happiness that's a challenge for like basically everybody is um, what role does suffering play in it? We can't be happy all the time because one person who is like nonstop happy, that seems kind of not right. There's going to be unpleasant things, there's going to be sadness. What role does that play in that experience of happiness, do you think?
Well, I'm going to read a quote
Oh, what an
from the,
English teacher.
well, you gave me some time to think about this, which was probably a mistake. But this is from the very end of Oedipus the King,
Hmm.
which I encountered when I was in 10th grade for the first time at Russellville High School. And here's the very end of it. It says, count no mortal happy till he has passed the final limit of his life, secure from pain. Now, I think the
Oh.
key phrase there is secure from pain, because of course there's going to be pain. It's the human condition, it's inevitable.
Hmm.
And but if you can secure yourself from the pain, if you can somehow find, I don't know exactly what I want to say here. What Oedipus couldn't do is he couldn't bring himself out of the pain. His life
Mm.
was destroyed. He faced tragedy, he faced a terrible situation, but he let it destroy him and his wife slash mother and his four siblings slash children, and the
Mhm.
whole family was destroyed. By the end of Antigone, everybody's dead. And it's just, if he had been different, maybe even from that horrible situation. That I don't remember the name of this movie, and I'm not sure I've ever seen it, but there's a father with his son in a concentration camp, and he's
Mhm.
convincing the son that life is beautiful
Mhm. Yeah,
as
yeah.
they deal with that. I think the movie's called Life is
Oh, life is
Beautiful.
beautiful. It's an amazing movie.
And I wish I watched more movies. I just don't. I would always rather read a book. But that, in that situation, focusing on life is beautiful, that's what Oedipus needed to do. That's what we all need to do when we face hardships.
That's
And
an amazing, Beth. That's so beautifully done because you're exactly right. In terms of like how so many people have seen it throughout history, the Buddhists, all sorts. Like, yes, we can get trapped and suffer, right? Or we can learn to see the beauty in this moment, even when the moment is not great, because
right,
otherwise we bring everybody down. It's sort of like that what you were saying about a teacher being happy. What we give out ripples, right? And so even if we're stressed as teachers, if you're happy, like you came in, then that made that student happier, right? If we're
right,
stressed, then we're going to make the student more stressed. If we're having a horrible time and we revel in it, we just make it worse, right?
right,
So you're exactly
exactly, exactly. And I don't want to go to the stoic position, which is it doesn't really matter because of course it matters.
right. Hmm.
And I think it would be inhuman to not feel the pain. But then do you stay in the pain or can you be secure in the pain and know
Hmm.
you're going to come through it and there will be another side to it when you're not in pain?
Do you think that it's easier or harder to do that now in the United States, like to get rid to move past that pain, to navigate all the suffering? Do you think this has gotten better over time or harder? What do you think?
I'll tell you what, I'm reading a book. I don't know, you may have read it. It's called Kindred by Octavia Butler.
I
And I'm
haven't, but I've
currently,
wanted to.
well, I've wanted to too, and now I'm doing it. And that's some perspective because here's a modern black woman who goes back to slavery.
Mm,
Well, there's nothing happening now, nothing happening now like that.
mm,
However bad things are now, and they are bad, the world is a mess, our country is a mess, but we got through that bad situation. It took a long time and a lot of suffering to do it. We got through it and we're still dealing with it, of course. But I think we tend to forget that right now in America, we are the richest, safest, healthiest people in the whole history of the world.
mm,
And when bad things happen, that doesn't mean they're not bad, But okay, here's my mantra for that. I have never once in my life gone to bed not knowing what I would feed my children the next day. Not one single time. Now, a few times when I was in graduate school and I was a single mother, it was going to be a peanut butter sandwich, but I had the bread and I had the peanut butter and I had some milk for him and it was going to be okay. And that helps me have perspective.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and,
it's
and I and as someone who teaches too, we really are trained to think more about like not just this moment, but the whole trajectory of history, right? And where we
right.
are, and giving that pulling back and saying, yes, um, things are not ideal. They could be worse and they could be better. Let's be grateful
Right.
and move forward to build what could make it better.
And try to make things better, constantly trying to make things better.
That's exactly right. How do you, because I know that you have done so much in addition to raising many, many children, which I raised two and I don't know how you did it because I raised two and it was hard. But you had like a whole army of children. So um, raising all those things, all the stress and contributing to the community and being a vital part, what practices did you have to help maintain your happiness through all of that stress and the things that would come up, the challenges?
I think I wrote something down about that. That's a question you gave me to think about, wasn't it?
Yes.
Um,
Like what habits or practices did you do to maintain happiness? What did you
oh,
do when
well,
you
you
feel
asked me,
unhappy?
right. And you know what habits or practices help you maintain happiness? I wrote down absolutely nothing, but I can tell you some things anyway. I grew up in the country. I grew up on 20 acres north of Russellville. Um, and so to me, seeing a tree is very helpful. Hearing a bird song is very helpful. Nature. Nature is
Mhm.
very important to me when I'm upset and unhappy. If I can be in just like, even if it's just to go to my back porch and look at the trees in my backyard. My
Mhm.
hickory trees are back there, and that helps.
I love that.
And
Like I have all sort similar. I have a tree out front in Russellville. I love dogwood that I can just look at the dogwood and just calm down. And here there's a little almost like ornamental cherries that's outside and the birds, I have a bird feeder on it, and the birds come. And so I'll pause and just watch who's there, who's visiting, and just be with them for a few breaths. And you're right, that changes, it shifts.
I try to go outside early in the morning and look at the sky, see what's up in the sky. I try to do the same thing in the evening when it gets dark before I go to sleep. Just see where the stars are, where the moon is, are
Hmm.
there clouds? What's going on out there? Um, when we had the eclipse, and it was a big ruckus in Russellville about the eclipse because we
Yes,
were
because
a
there's
good
100% totality there.
us. And I thought, you know, the sun comes up every day. Isn't that enough of a miracle for people? But and I was really glad how that turned out. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law came and stayed with us since they didn't want to pay $600 a night for a hotel room in Russellville.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have gone out to see it if they hadn't been here. And I'm glad I saw it. It was quite awesome. It was quite awe-inspiring.
Hmm.
But I just think the normal sky it's just amazing.
Well,
The
and we get trapped
colors.
so much in our heads too, because we're in our houses looking at our screens, doing our things, our projects, all our little tasks,
Right.
that we forget and get disconnected from the fact that this is an amazing, glorious, incredible world we're on. And it's
Every minute.
beautiful every minute of every day. It is that way. It
Right.
is a miracle every minute. And just to stop, just even when, like here in Massachusetts in the winter, it's really hard. Fine, just stop, go outside. You don't have to like live out there and look. Or in summer in Arkansas when it is 8 bazillion degrees and the mosquitoes are coming, just go look. Listen to those cicadas at night. Oh, they're glorious.
Love
Or
that. Yes.
yes. Or here there's a hawk, a red-tailed hawk, and they have that distinctive like screech and
Yes.
it pierces. And so when I hear it, I want to go look because I want to see it. They're so beautiful. And to hear that call and then to think about all of, just for a breath or two, all of the animals and their ecosystem and how they're functioning. And it gets me out of my crap in my head, right? Just like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you think, though, that happiness is a choice or a result of circumstances? What would you say?
Um, well, I've got that question. It's a or question, and I answered it yes.
Yes, is the right answer too, right? It is.
It is both, of course. There are circumstances, and then you have a choice.
Mm, yeah.
And
What do you
that's
do
all there,
about it?
that's
Yeah.
what do you do? What do you do? Do you go to pieces? Or do you say, well, that was bad, or that was really lucky? Well, okay, this is a kind of a dumb little example, but I had how many boys before this happened? My sixth boy.
Oh, that's so many boys.
Yeah, I had a lot of boys. I had mostly boys. So let's say I had five boys, and every single one of them, no trouble with haircuts. Took them for their first haircut. They sat in the chair. They were cooperative, happy. I thought, I am doing such a good job here.
Go
And
me. Yeah.
then I took number six, and you know number six, it's Matthew. It's
Mm,
Mr. Performer at church. That's Matthew.
yeah.
And he did not do well. He did not do well. He was terrified. He cried and he fought. And I finally just had to bring him home. And I thought, I wasn't doing well. I was just lucky. Now, that's circumstances. Um, Matthew came with a lot of baggage. He had a very difficult start. I blame that, but I haven't been able to overcome it. He still has struggles with things like that. When he's afraid, he just goes nuts. And it wasn't anything I did that made him do it, I don't think. He loves and trusts me as much as anyone in the world, and I still can't talk him into some things.
You know what? Hopefully this will make you feel better, Beth. I'm the same way as Matthew. So there's still some things that freak me out. It's not logical. It doesn't have to do with anybody did. It's how my brain is wired. And,
Right.
you know, there's nothing that anybody could have changed it. So I had to learn, to navigate that and to figure it out. And is this a rational fear or a irrational fear? And all those things. So I would say, Beth, definitely not your fault. Definitely
Well,
not.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I wish I could do better with him. I just keep working with him. Some things now he can get a haircut now. He has a haircutter that he trusts. He goes right in. She cuts what he tells her to. He points and shows her where. And then when he's done, she stops. And she always wants to do a couple more things because she's a perfectionist, like haircutters are. But she stops when he says stop, and it's wonderful. It's a miracle. And there are
Good.
other things like that. But then there are some things we're still working really hard on, and I don't know if we're ever going to get them resolved.
But that's lifelong growth. I'm still working on things. I hope I'll resolve some of them. Maybe I will. Doesn't matter. I'll just keep working regardless. That's the point. It's the journey, right? Keep
Right.
trying. You
Keep
just
trying. Progress.
100%.
Yes.
And I like that idea. I was just lucky. I was thinking about that too. David and I, were like, oh, we did such a good job with our kids. And then
You did.
we look at other kids around there and we're like, we were just really lucky. We just, they were just really good.
Well, they're wonderful kids and they're clearly very well tended to. Um,
Oh,
prenatal
same, same.
on. And that's one thing that's hard about adoption is you're not in control of the prenatal or the
Mm,
early experiences. Like,
yeah.
and I will tell you, when I want to get this message out there to anybody who's thinking about something about adoption, the first time I held my adopted infants, felt exactly like I had given birth to them.
Mhm.
It was the very
Oh.
same feeling. I would do anything for this kid, including dying, right? Starting right now. But you're out of control of that stuff. And it's so important. It's such important stuff. And it does influence who they are. Plus, They have a genetic makeup that's not my genetic makeup. So it's always, every child is a surprise package, but they're even a little more surprising than
Yes,
a
I think about
biological
that.
child.
I think about that too because the struggles that I know that my biological children have, I understand them because they're usually familiar. They're familiar in some manner that I've gone through something similar. And then I say other people like that is not familiar. I have not gone through that, so I don't have the same type of skills to help. And that I could see would be a challenge in adopting. It's like, okay, I recognize you're struggling, but I have internally, I haven't gone through this, so I don't know how to help yet. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I think that would be a challenge within
It
an
is.
adoption.
And of course, that's one of the main criticisms of transracial adoption,
Hmm.
which I know is part of your family as it is part of mine. And I
Hmm.
just think it's was the best solution for those particular people. But I have had to do some extra stuff because
Hmm.
I don't understand what it's like to be in Walmart and have someone get on the speaker because I'm looking at makeup and say, associate to makeup aisle,
Hmm.
because there's a brown skinned girl there looking at makeup. And when I appeared in that aisle, the associate evaporated. And I just,
That would have
that,
made me so mad.
what made me so mad.
Yeah.
Um, but that's her life,
Yeah,
as it
and
is.
you don't have to live that. That's not internalized within you. We can be empathetic
No,
and supportive, but it's not internalized on how to navigate that.
it's maddening for me, but for her, it's reality.
Hmm. Exactly.
And she has to deal with it. She can't let it control her, define her, um,
Or ruin her happiness.
yes, or limit her happiness. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it does
Now,
make her mad.
I could imagine. We're all the way towards the end. I only have two more questions for you.
Yeah.
One is, what advice would you give someone who is struggling to find happiness?
Um, Here's what I used to say to kids in school when they were trying to decide about college decisions. I'd say, get somewhere by yourself, be very quiet and still, and listen because the answer is inside you.
I love that, Beth. That's perfect advice. Perfect. Yeah. It's always inside you, the answer.
That's the
Mhm.
answer. It's
You just
inside
got to
you,
get rid of the noise for a little bit and listen to
right?
yourself.
And all the advice that kids that age get about you should do this or you should do that, or just get somewhere and listen, and you'll
Mm,
hear the answer.
I love that.
And some of them were kind enough to allege that that worked.
I think it's fantastic advice regardless. It's a good thing for everybody to do. Just get alone, put it all
Yes,
away, just listen to yourself.
just listen. Yes.
Now, final question. I need you to add a song to the Happy You Asked playlist.
Oh, golly. Happiness playlist.
Any song you want.
Well, okay. Uh, Historically, I have three favorite songs, but lately I've become a Bob Dylan head completely. I
Yeah.
only listen to Bob Dylan, and he's not exactly happy.
No, but that doesn't matter though. Not all the songs on playlist are happy. Some are just messages that matter in the
Okay,
journey.
all right, I've got it then. All Along the Watchtower,
Perfect. Love it.
either Bob Dylan or the maybe slightly superior Jimi Hendrix
I know I
version.
was going to say Jimi Hendrix is the more famous one.
Well, I hate to say it, I don't covers. I mean, I just think, oh well, you're just taking someone else's, but Jimi Hendrix playing that song, it's really amazing to me.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, Beth, thank you. Thank you so much for talking today. I feel happier after having talked to you.
Well, I feel happy after having considered these questions. I mean, this evoked happy memories for me. And now, can we do one more thing?
Of course.
Are we out of time? Are you out of time?
No, go ahead.
On your paper, you had, if you could design a society focused on happiness, what would it look like?
Yeah, what would it look like?
Well, to me, it would be a combination of the early Christian church and
Mhm.
the idealized communist economy from each according to their ability to each according to their need, which to me is
Mm.
the model of the family. That's how families work. And so I would, in my idealized society, the whole society would be a family, everyone equally concerned with every person and making sure they had what they needed.
Each to their ability. I love
Yes,
that. I've never
yes.
thought
From
about
their
that like that. Like that's how a family works, and that's how we're all just
the
a family,
baby doesn't
giant
the
family.
baby doesn't do anything. The baby doesn't contribute anything, but the baby gets taken care of because that's how the family works.
Mm. And we'll each have our role, and that role will change over time and evolve. I
Correct.
like that. I like that.
Thank you for letting me answer that last question.
Of course. And thank you for being here. And thank you to everybody for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Mm.